What's up, Frag Fam? Forti back with another FUMECHAT episode 2. Today's episode is about discontinued fragrances. Let me know in the comment section below what you guys had to search for when these companies discontinued your favorite gems like this one. Stay tuned, the video's coming up right now. A real quick caveat here. In this video, unfortunately, I was having problems with my memory card, so the video cut a few times, so I apologize ahead of time. If the video seems a little bit crazy, a little bit spotty, it's because I had to restart the video a few times. Actually, my wife did it. Thank you so much for my wife. She actually saw that the video was cutting, so she had to restart the recording. So I apologize for that, but please enjoy it. Let me know in the comment section below what you guys love that was discontinued and you guys had to search for an alternative. Enjoy the video. I'll talk to you guys later. Hey, Mr. Cologne. What's up, Glenn? What's going on, guys? So today we're going to be tackling a particular question that I get asked all the time, which is discontinued fragrances. People want to know, good alternatives to discontinued fragrances, why they get discontinued. So we're going to tackle some of these topics, but first I want to get some people in, and also I want you guys to let me know what you're rocking today, what's your scent of the day. My scent of the day today is from Michel Germain Pomme. It's actually a really nice citrus aromatic with a little bit of a barbershop fougere kind of a feel to it. What this reminds me of, it's a more citrus version of Dolce & Gabbana Pour Homme, the original one with the sticker. This is actually better than the current formulation of Dolce & Gabbana Pour Homme that you can find at your stores today. So very, very affordable price. This is actually considered a cheapie, but it's a real goodie. So check this one out, guys. That's my scent of the day. Let me know what you guys are rocking on this beautiful Sunday morning. The weather's fantastic here where I am in Connecticut. Definitely join if you're on Facebook, join that group. There's scent of the day pictures, giveaways, discount codes, trade swapping, decants, you name it. It's all happening there at the Facebook group Emporium of Scents. I hope to see you guys there. If you release a fragrance and you don't have good sales, you don't have a good feedback from the customers, from us, companies tend to X those fragrances. So that's the number one thing. But not always just the one thing, but it's definitely something that really determines for sure if they're going to keep it or X a certain fragrance. The second thing is compounds and the actual components of that fragrance became extinct or too expensive to make, which will change the price per mil of that fragrance. Sometimes they might raise prices like we see with creeds, or they might just say, you know what, we don't want to sacrifice the actual fragrance itself, the actual composition, so we rather just discontinue it altogether because we don't want you guys to suffer by getting a subpar product by us, substituting that note or that accord for something, that's not going to be as good. So that's another thing, ingredients, compounds becoming extinct, hard to find, more expensive, which will compromise the actual composition. Third thing here is legalities. Companies sometimes become, bought out, conglomerates, change of CEOs. They want to go into a different direction. They look at the whole lineup. They said, okay, this got to go, this has to go. I want to change the whole image, the whole motto, the whole mission statement of the company. So sometimes we may see companies, changing the whole portfolio just because they have a new CEO or a new group of directors, and that changes sometimes the lineup or the profile of a certain company. The last thing here that I put down was new generation. With every decade we have new people, the millennia, we have, a whole bunch of people that are born, so they change, their taste. A fragrance that I used to love, like Azara Pour Homme, nowadays you ask somebody to smell it, the feedback might be, wow, this smells like my grandfather, it's dated, it's, old manish. So that could be a reason why a lot of fragrances get axed, because companies feel that it's just plain old and they need to reformulate something or just, get rid of it altogether and come up with something more modern that's going to cater to a younger demographic. So those, I think, are the four topics that I would say, from research and from doing this for a couple of decades now, collecting and loving fragrances for over 30 years, I think are the most common situations why companies tend to discontinue fragrances. I'd love to hear from you guys. Please chime in below. I'm going to give it a couple minutes just to see what you guys think. Thank you so much. I'm going to read a couple comments here before we get into my selections that I chose today as fragrances that were discontinued that I had to find alternatives for. But let me know down here in the comment section. I'll read a couple comments on reasons. If you guys have any other reasons that you think companies do discontinue, please let me know at this time and I'll read them out. Getting to my choices here, and I'll tell you what alternatives I had to find because these fragrances were no longer available for me to buy. So starting with the one I talked about first, is Calvin from Calvin Klein. This was released in 1981. What this is, it's a boozier, more youthful version of Drakkar Noir type of fragrance. Do enjoy this a lot because it's a little sweeter than Drakkar Noir and it's a lot more pleasant. A lot of people think Drakkar Noir, especially the old formulation, was very in your face and hair chested. So this was discontinued, and I had to find a substitute of that fragrance. And what I found to be very close to it, but very expensive, but yet, I had a choice to make. I could either try to find this on eBay or at our forums and pay, $100 to $200 for a brand new Calvin, or I could get a discounted Bond Number 9 Cooper Square, which I do love. Fragrance, perhaps Cooper Square is actually a little boozier than this, so I really like it. Sometimes we might even luck out that companies will bring a fragrance that smells like something that was discontinued, and sometimes we might get lucky that it's going to smell even better than what was out there. This is rare to happen, but it happens sometimes. So Bond Number 9 Cooper Square, I actually like a little bit, probably more than Calvin, but it's about 90% similar. If you want something a little bit stronger, you might want to go with the original Calvin. The other one here is an Olivier Poge discontinued fragrance that used to be a cheapie. You could find this for $19, $20, $25. Now you're looking to pay between $150 to $200. This is Midnight in Paris. This is the Eau de Parfum. A great fragrance, fantastic leather scent, Oriental, little incensey, just very sensual juice. I'm sure you guys have tried this. Lucky enough, Prada just released Prada. There you go. It's a new fragrance. It was just released. In a few months, you might find that discounted. So I'd say grab it because you never know. Like Prada discontinued the Luna Rossa Extreme. So now if you're looking to pick that up, you're going to pay a lot more than retail. So the same goes for Prada Luna Rossa Black. If they ever discontinue that and you want to get this fragrance and you want to get this kind of profile, definitely grab a couple bottles of Prada Luna Rossa Black, which will get you very close to Midnight in Paris EDP. The other one here is one of my favorite Dolce & Gabbanas, along with the Pour Homme, is Dolce & Gabbana By, the Zebra bottle, which is a great barbershop meets tobacco kind of scent. It's definitely ahead of its time. It was released, I think, in 1997. It was definitely ahead of its time. It was kind of metrosexual, so it was definitely ahead of its time. But think about M7 from Yves Saint Laurent. It was definitely ahead of its time in 2003. This was a great scent. Unfortunately, sales didn't do well for Dolce & Gabbana. It was discontinued very fast. I think early to mid-2000. By 2005, you couldn't find this anymore. It was very hard to find, and it started to already fetch a pretty penny. Oftentimes, as soon as something becomes discontinued, it gets this superstar status. The moment something gets sought after, prices start to skyrocket. It's supply and demand. So By is a great scent, and Parfums Vintage, which we all know from making Creed's Aventus dupes and Green Irish Tweed, and they do a whole bunch of different things. They came up with a fragrance that smells very similar to this, which is called, you look real quick because it's a crazy name, Intrigo Devastante. This is going for like $300 to $500 on eBay. So, and you don't know if you, by the way, real quickly for you guys, make sure if you're ever getting a bottle of this, that the inside is white. Don't get the black one, because if you get the one that's black, it's a fake. So a little quick info for you guys. The other one here that I love, which is also a great scent that I used to wear as a signature scent for work. Now I don't wear this as much because this is my last bottle, is Davidoff's Good Life. This is a great little fragrance. It has a beautiful note of watermelon up top. If you guys like a very beautiful fruity watermelon, like we like the Millésime Impérial kind of vibe, it's kind of like that, but this is a little sweeter than Millésime Impérial, but it's in the same vein. Like they could be cousins. They could be very close to each other. I like this a little bit better, and you can find a fragrance that's very similar to this one from Bond Number 9, and it's called Gramercy Park. Now, Gramercy Park is going to be 90% close to this fragrance. Perhaps it's going to be a little bit more floral than this, but it's about 90 to 95% close to 90%, I'd say. But it's a great alternative if you want to grab Good Life instead of paying $200-300 for this. grab a discounted, bond number 9, Gramercy Park, you're going to get 90% of that fragrance, and it does last pretty good. So not sure, I heard it might be discontinued, Gramercy Park, because it doesn't have good sales for bond. So don't quote me on that, but if you can grab a bottle and you like Good Life, it's one that's a great alternative to that fragrance. I have 2 more for you. The one that's really talked about from Gucci, this is the Tom Ford era, when Tom Ford was the creative director of Gucci, and he was doing amazing. And this is Gucci Pour Homme 1, which is a dark incense, creamy sandalwood, just a beautiful woody fragrance. One of the best fragrances, released in 2003 also. One of the best Gucci ever made. This is exactly when Gucci was doing things right. Unfortunately, sales weren't great, axed, discontinued, and now it's fetching a very pretty penny on the places that we can find discontinued gems. But there's a fragrance from Bentley, which is a brand that makes great fragrances for amazing price, and they do perform great. Bentley Absolute, which is a dark bottle. By the way, this video is going to be, it's being recorded right now. I'm going to edit and put it on YouTube, so if you guys want to check it out, please also go there and chime in. Let me know your thoughts on these alternatives and what you guys suggest for other alternatives for discontinued gems. I'd love to read your comments. And when I edit the video, I'm going to put all the fragrances that I'm talking about, I'm going to put them right there so you guys can see what the alternatives are. So Gucci Pour Homme 1, you can get, one second, just lost my train of thought. You can get Bentley Absolute, which is a dark black aluminum bottle that smells, not aluminum, but it's a dark black bottle that's going to give you the same scent profile as Gucci Pour Homme. I'd say it's about 90%, 85-90%. It changes a little bit. It's a little sweeter, not as incensey, but it's still dark. It's resinous, just like Gucci Pour Homme 1. Last but not least, I have my favorite from Gucci. This is my favorite from all time. This is Gucci Envy. This smells like heaven. Perhaps one of the best Gucci ever made. Sadly discontinued. Fragrances that will smell like this. Carven Homme smells very similar to this. I'd say about 85%. Or you could get one even better that is called, besides Carven Pour Homme, there's a fragrance from Flores that's called Santal, which is about 90% similar to this fragrance. It won't last as much as Envy, but when it comes to the scent profile itself, especially in the dry down, it's going to be very similar to Envy. So those are a couple options that you have for Gucci Envy. Again, let me know, please, guys. I want to take a little time to look at some of your trials and tribulations that you had with fragrances that you loved, that were discontinued, and you had to find an alternative. Please let me share with us. Had to find, let me know if a certain fragrance that you absolutely loved and you created memories, emotions with, it was like a go-to fragrance that was discontinued, and that you guys had to go ahead and find an alternative for it. I'd love to hear. Do you find an alternative for it, or do you just, cough up the dough and get the actual discontinued fragrance? You try to find it, and pay vintage prices. What do you guys think? A lot of people saying that they were very big fans of the old classics. I am too. I've gone full circle trying niche indies, and I always go back to my, old school designers. That's where my heart is at. I think they were done very well. They were very well made. The compounds were great. They lasted. And nowadays it's just, just money grabs, sadly but true. We have a lot of money grabs. I want to leave you guys with one question. If you could only bring one fragrance from anything and everything that you've ever tried that's been discontinued, what would that fragrance be? I know mine. Please let me know. And I'd love to read what you guys, would bring back. And hope you guys do great. Hope you guys have a phenomenal Sunday. Enjoy the weather. It's still beautiful out. Fall's right around the corner. Almost time to get our, heavier scents. Stay tuned for a lot more, and I hope to continue to do this for you guys as much as possible. Again, your feedback is imperative. Please let me know what you guys think about these live frag chats, and just continue to give me feedback, and I'll continue to bring more stuff for you guys. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate everything you do for me, the patronage, the support. Nothing goes unnoticed. And I'm going to have a really nice giveaway for you guys to commemorate the 30K subscribers in the YouTube channel. So I'm going to give you guys 3 things with that giveaway, so stay tuned for that. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time. Take care.